Oh yeah, that's a really good point actually. It's like what denies give you what 50% now, something like that.
I think so, because it was 35 before, right?
Something like that, yeah. But it's been nerfed twice, so denies just aren't anywhere near as good. And I mean, I guess final thoughts on the Kunkas. You can always push the lane and go jungle, push the lane, go jungle, and it's very fast at doing that. SF, of course, too, is fast at doing that, which is a big reason why SF is relatively strong in this meta with the new Guardian Grease build, is because you can do that. You can just jungle that hard camp extremely easily after pushing out the wave quickly.
But like we mentioned before, though, mid lane, Radiant side mid lane with the Kunkka just makes it a bit more intuitive to just go in, kill the medium camp, and come back. Whereas SF, you still have to go up a high ground, depending on what they have. I mean, we see the Chen, even if Lesh is a support, you can come in with a rotation of that. Or, sorry if I mean with a Radiant side, obviously, you have the Nyx, you can come in rotation from the high ground and just kind of backstab the SF when he tries to go into the jungle to farm.
Yep. I like the Chen Brew combo. You can put the Chen buff on the Panda, and I'm pretty sure as a hero unit that gets the 3x damage, and it has the the Pulverize, which does more damage to buildings. So you have that absolutely ridiculous combo in the late game. Of course, you can always still use that on the siege creeps with Chen, but that combo, we've seen it with the Invoker plus Earth Brewling, and it's pretty dirty. There's situations where you can literally just rax them while a fight is kind of just breaking out in total chaos, and you just put the Brewling on the building and it like raxes. And with Shrek, that's even more so true.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, they did nerf the Diabolic Edict slightly, but once that's capped out, it's, I believe, the same strength, right? They just reduced the damage at each level by, was it 2? And then it caps out like the same.
That, yeah. Scales to be just as good.
It's quite scary looking at what All But Gold has already. Because the Doom is really nice. I like the pickup a lot, especially against the 3 first heroes they took. But usually we see Dooms go for face drums, maybe a Midas, and it definitely feels like you need a Blink Dagger this game to just preemptively jump in and Doom like the Brewmaster or the SF. Because once Guardian Greaves comes up, Vlad's on the Brewmaster, and then a level 7 on the Leshrac, they just melt through buildings. And sure, you can run up, but the Brewmaster just preemptively split. So you have a very hard time getting a proper Doom target, and then they can just kind of destroy your buildings. Yeah, the sustain is very good for them as well.
Chen and Shadow Fiend with the mechanism, you have the 2 heals to deal with the Doom. If you Doom either of them, the other one's just going to save. I mean, you're not going to Doom the Chen, of course, but the Chen will save somebody. If you Doom the SF, Chen will save them. If you Doom anybody else, the Shadow Fiend and the Chen will save them. Brew is definitely like the ideal Doom target. Honestly, Old Book Gold has a really good early game pushing lineup. They have this like really nice window, about 18 minutes to 25 minutes in the game. Like you said, with the Vlad's, the mechanism, and the little Shrek, maybe having a couple of bracers. If they could pick some carry that fights but also scales decently well, some maybe Ursa, Jug sort of thing, this would be a pretty good way to possibly have an early game timing and then a nice fallback. Because with the way it looks right now, Gambit has the late game secured.
Yeah, I would like the Jug a lot because of having that very common build nowadays as well, with going just face drums, Manta, and then definitely helps against the Medusa. Obviously later on it's not going to be as strong, but you still have a way where that build is also really nice to help early on to fight, because you just go with them level 7, level 8, you fight, you have face drum.
I feel like
there's still Ursa too. There's a Monkey King, which it would be good against Doom and Lane. It's good against Kunkka. Can build up to Diffusal against the Medusa. It's just not as early game centric as the Juggernaut.
Isn't there been
how well it does in the lane?
A common issue with the Jug though? Like we've seen it a few times, right, Jenkins? And in the Medusa matchup, that is the Jug versus the Medusa. And maybe it was just those drafts. This one seems like it might be more catered to it, because usually the issue that you ran into is the Jug is stuck trying to farm, but you have someone else who needs this huge bulk of gold as well. I guess you could say All But Gold's draft does centralize around that kind of one farmer very well. Instead, though,
what?
We're getting the Coreless Rack.
Yeah, they're really committing to the early game. Cool. Sweet. Illidan Shrek.
Yeah, I've seen him play it before, so it should be good. I mean, I like the clock as well with setting up kills, especially if you just clock Lesh and Chen, you can run them aggressive.
Yeah.
Just put pressure onto what's looking like it's gonna be a safe lane Medusa. There's a chance of that. I mean, unless Afro goes safe lane with the Kunkka, because usually you want to have the Medusa in the mid lane just to get the extra levels for sure, and especially against the Shadow Fiend as well, it's fairly useful. So we'll see if they want to swap that up any.
It's a really good clock game. You have the hook for the backline, so the Keeper of the Light. You can screw up the initiation of the Kunkka, of the Doom, just like break the fight up into two with the cogs. They have a bunch of melee heroes. They have relatively slow heroes that have, good physical resist and regen, but the clock has enough persistent damage to get through like the Doom's regen, to get through the Kunkka's regen. The Nyx Assassin has the Carapace, sure, but if you're caught in the cogs and he has the battery assault on, you're going to catch up to him. Especially if he breaks the cog and tries to get out, it's going to knock him back, and that gives you time to catch up to him. Like, I don't think Clock cares about any of these heroes. It honestly feels like an amazing Clock game. I wouldn't say like a perfect Clock game, but he's definitely going to feel comfortable ganking any of these lanes. There's no hero that can just get out of cogs. There's no Queen of Pain. There's no, Puck. That's always where Clock really struggles, when he doesn't have anywhere to go. But he can go to any lane in this game and get a kill.
As long as he doesn't fall really far behind in the lanes. I mean, if they come out of the lanes, swinging, then I think Clock is gonna have an amazing game, like you said. If they fall behind a bit, and
combo.
then
Forgot about the combo. The Shadow Fiend extra souls. Looks like he's not even gonna suffer in this lane now.
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've seen this.
For a while, we just saw it non-stop, and it was kind of sigh, when will this be fixed? And I don't know if this is on the same level of what we complain about with the Ring of Regen earlier, but if it starts to come back in hard, it could be.
I don't know. It's kind of up there as this weird thing that probably shouldn't be in the game, because, I mean, do cogs have souls? Like, this doesn't make any sense. The lore.
Well, OpenAI has led me to not question it that way. You never know, okay? Maybe the cogs have become sentient.
Speaking of OpenAI, you know what they do that is something that also is weird and probably shouldn't be in the game? When they tank towers with sentries. Like, these are just very strange mechanics in Dota where it's kind of like, all right, is this a bug or is it a feature? I don't know.
I mean, that must be a feature, and that's just next level plays. I can't wait until players start picking drop sentries to tank towers to make sure the catapult stays alive.
Hey man, probably when we see the OpenAI finals, maybe people start doing that.
Yeah.
Just watch OG use that strategy against OpenAI.
It's actually legit if you don't pull the tower aggro. Super legit.
Just put down 5 sentries when pushed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could tank a tower for the siege creep with the sentry, and then the next. Although I'm pretty sure tower priority goes to siege creeps.
Maybe.
I don't know. So if you're attacking the tower, I'm pretty sure the tower would swap to you. It's really weird, but the way that they use it is kind of bullshit. So.
You got a question. Is it as ridiculous as being able to sub under task? That's the real question. It was a classic.
Yeah, that is a classic. As an offlaner, I have no problems with salving under towers. That's a lot of the time how you kill, how you dive.
The typical political answer coming from the offlaner. If it benefits me, I'm all for it. Why should my lane suffer more? It's already hard.
Bring back the 0-second shrines. Where are those at? Come on. Those are great.
Is it not good enough that they made your lane a lane again and you're not expected to just not have double-digit deaths by 10 minutes? You should be happy.
No, I want more. I want more than that.
Always want more. Especially as an offlaner. You don't get enough. You can always get more.
It's true.
Greed that goes unpunished. How are these looking so far? I mean, Kunkka is getting decent CS, but straight out of the gate, G's not suffering at all.
Yeah.
Maybe
the extra souls just make it so damn hard.
Well, like, this is your one advantage, arguably, until you have 6, right? With the Kunkka is, hey, he's gonna have a bad start, low base damage, because you got to remember, you're a melee hero against Shadow Fiend, who has these razors that stack.
Yep, that is true. Although you have a high HP pool, and you also go for bracers, so it's one of the few heroes that Shadow Fiend can't just triple raise and kill. Ooh, careful, Nyx.
Living life on the edge here, but so is Velior, and Velior will be the one who goes down. Emotional lift. Double mango regen.
Unfortunate cogs knockback when the stun on the Leshrac was off. like he hits the stun as well as the knockback, kind of overlapping the stuns a little bit there, and it could have made the difference, but it was just unfortunate timing. There's really nothing that they could have done.
So the base damage of the Leshrac is definitely showing this top lane though, because the Kulich up on 13 CS compared to the 7 on Illidan.
Yeah, it's rough for this hero. And just the fact that in side lanes you don't really go for null talismans anymore means that you don't go for the early mantles, so your intelligence is just really low. Sure, you have the wands and the stat item, or sorry, the sticks and the stat items and stuff, but it doesn't give you anywhere near the amount of damage that the old mantle build would. Sitting at 54.
Once again, we're on the old statements. How old is that build? A few months?
Hey man, I'm not the one adding patches every 2 weeks, you know?
Well, this is what the community wanted. For better or worse. There's an argument of whether it's worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had it said interesting ways, and I kind of agree. It's just, I think you go back, how long ago was it now? Like a year and a half? We had like one stale patch, and that was where the outcry came out. But if you actually looked in the past, you just had this kind of evolving meta that happened because you weren't changing anything about the game, but people were like experimenting and finding new combinations they didn't even think of before.
Yep.
There's definitely always things to explore. I mean, one of the... sorry, I just lost my thought.
Well, Velior lost himself aside Cogs, but so decided Gambit. Okay, well, they're going to give you a moment to recollect what you wanted to say there as they'll calm down there.
But yeah, one of the great examples is if you look back at the old Troll Snipe meta, for example. I think that if that would have gone on for another month, a lot more people would have started picking up Winter Wyvern back then, because that's when, you know, you could do damage in the ulti, and it was way stronger against melee heroes. But no one was really playing Wyvern back then. So I think that, you know, when you have these longer patch stretches, you definitely see the meta evolves a lot more.
Also, just consider back then, like, there wasn't creep cut. People literally didn't creep cut back then.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't a thing, to cut the wave as an offlaner. It's just like jungling not being a thing. The whole meta shifts when people start doing like a strat, you know, like cutting the second wave or immersion.
Stun coming out on him after he puts the double stun out. Who's going to die faster though? The Spike Carapace comes out, and that means Illidan has to walk away. But with the point in Scorched Earth, he will just tick down to a Kulich. Kulich can turn around, try for the kill on Velior. The barracks all good. He's going to get himself two there. Velior, beautifully done. In time for the runes as well.
Yeah, that's super good timing. I mean, those kills... compared to the bounties, they don't matter.
Yeah, and the edict being out as well through that whole fight really helped out.
Oh yeah, for sure. Both of these lanes actually have a lot of damage between the Scorched Earth, the Doom Infernal Blade, Stun of the Nyx Assassin, Battery Assault from Clockwork. That's what I was saying, like the level 3 on Clockwork is super important because the Battery Assault level 2 point scales to give you 25 extra damage instead of just 20 at level 1. So it's super effective to level it up. It does more than double the damage. So now he's way more capable of getting kills in these lanes, especially with the solo double kill up top. Almost solo.
Almost.
Yeah, the levels are incredibly helpful.
This bot lane actually has been rather quiet, actually.
Yeah, they're all just kind of chilling. They're all just kind of farming down here. It's hard to aggro into a Caudle, because worst case scenario, he just blasts the wave out with level 2 Illuminate, and then pulls, and then blasts, and then pulls, and then blasts, and then pulls. And then sure, your Medusa doesn't get CS, but your Caudle will. So you can see he has 8 CS right now, so that's what he's been doing. Take all the range creeps with the Caudle Blast.
It looks like he's gone for 2 points in the Illuminate, as you're talking about. Not doing what we've seen FNG do in the past. He used to have a habit of taking level 1 Blinding Light. Kind of glad he moved past that, because it tended to backfire. The problem with that skill is you use it, and then you're useless for 30 seconds.
I think this makes a lot of sense what he's doing. He's single... Oh, actually, no, is he trying to pull through? No, he's not. So he's just single pulling, which is sending a double wave into them, which is a really good way to deal with a high-pressure lane, like Brute Shen, because you're just trying to play into, like, 2 creep waves. It's not possible, so the Medusa can farm. And then also he's blasting the hard camp as well, which is killing it, which means it respawns. Medusa can take the CS a little bit there, and they're just generally going to get more experience down here because of this, because they're abusing the creep push mechanic. Actually, Medusa's stealing the creeps with Mystic Snake. So they're actually getting the Medusa the farm down here, despite pushing it with the blast. This is a nice lane. Really nice.
Kind of surprised as well, right, Weppas? Because I feel like a few months ago, we were looking at support meta in a different way. It was about how can I not interfere with a creep wave? How can I not do damage to it, right? I feel like that was one of the reasons Disruptor, as an example, fell out, because you were just kind of hitting up a hero, but then inadvertently pushing the lane.
Yeah, now it's changed a lot. I think people are abusing the jungle a bit more. I mean, that's happened for a while now. You see these just pressing it into the tower, especially if you're not really that afraid of the offlaner, or you don't have kill threat on the offlaner anyways. Sure, it's nice to pull back, but it's also fairly helpful considering the Chen was down here. They want to put pressure if they can. So if you just push the wave, you go in, you hit a couple of creeps in the jungle, you're just going to accelerate your farm and be able to actually hold once that push comes along.
Right, because Brood Chen has no way of pushing the wave like a Medusa Caudal can. So why not just double their CS? Which is kind of what they're doing between them. I mean, obviously not exactly, but they're doing very well in a lane where if they were to just casually lane this, they'd be getting pressured.
They want to try and punish this because Veliar's rotated down, but there's no easy entrance. You're still two melee heroes fighting into a Medusa and a Cold.
Look at this pull. Double stack on the easy count. They're just farming up a storm down here on the Radiant side.
Yeah, so is G though. G has topped the CS chart so far. Keeping... Oh, no, he doesn't even have the lead anymore. Afon has taken it. Gotta see those bounties more than anything else.
And you always have to be worried as Shadow Fiend. So he's got the magic wand, which I still don't think this is enough. If there's any sort of rotation, you can see how safe he's playing on SF. You actually can't go lane against Kunkka. He just X's you and you die. Or you take all of your HP and it's not worth it.
That's always the big problem when you've got that level 6 on Kunkka, suddenly the lane dynamic completely changes. Before, it was a little bit of whittling, a little bit of harassment. On almost every hero, unless you're a Bracer build, that goes to a, this guy can now kill me.
Look at this Nyx. Gambit is completely anticipating this gank right now.
There, here they come in, and oh no, he fluffed the stun. Missed both of them. Cog's gonna come out, the split's been used. They're gonna try and stack up the razors. Afon down to half HP. Needs to throw out the boat, but it's too late for him, he's already gone. And they'll just sidestep it. Velior getting pretty low, but Immersion can't hang around, taking too much damage to Illidan. He joins in the rotation and overwhelms them with the damage coming out from the Pulse Nova.
And they have the Chen Siege creep for this push too. Although it's awkward with all these creeps here. It's a 5-man rotation. You really want to get this tower if you can. Especially because Kunkka almost has the enemy tower.
It's interesting to see this kind of change in the dynamic of push or mid, right? Because for a while, it was actually up to the supports. Like, I remember I was asking a few pro players, when do you actually look to have a mid ganked? When do you look to have that lane reset for you? And they go, actually, if the supports come to my lane, I want to set up a push instantly afterwards. And teams seem to be just committing to these 5-mans now to ensure that that tower falls.
Right. It's basically... Things are super based on trends. Like, you'll have a team commit like 1 or 2 heroes to defending tier 1. All of a sudden, people start sending more heroes to it. They commit 3 or 4 heroes to defending a tier 1. All of a sudden, there's just 5v5 mid every game. And the reason for that is because, like, in general, when it comes to ganks and rotations, the purpose is not for kills. Kills do not matter in Dota. What the purpose is changing your orientation on the map or pressuring a tower. Like, there should always be a strategic reason that you're going for a rotation. And if it's for a tower and people are responding, you don't get the tower with that rotation. Even if you get a kill, it can be bad. So that's why, like, sending 5 people to take a tower, if it's necessary, it's going to be worth it.
That's a fair way of looking at it. It's that kind of gradual pacing, right? Because the mid is in the center of the map. It just makes sense. Like, if you want to transition to a push top or bot, you're going to be passing through there anyway. So you might as well get the maximum value on the
right,
on the
exactly. Yep, it's early game rotations are all about combining different power spikes.
It's damage. They throw out the Doom straight well in the Illidan. They want to get him, but there's a clap coming out. BZZ slowing things up. Merchant is chasing, but this pony may be a little bit too fast for him. He's sidestepping. He's suspicious. There's the hook shot coming out. Velior breaking up the fight. Forces out the Ignis. This 3 here is stuck at it, but the boat will only connect on the 1. Immersion throws out the stun to 2. Illidan is fine to actually attack now. He's Greaves. Or Mech rather, and it looks like he's going to be fine as the Doom has ran out. Illidan now wants to turn around fight. The split is off cooldown. They'll use it straight away. Boat buff is running out, and Afon is going to feel it. He will fall.
He just stops.
He knows. He's like, well, my run buff is gone. I'm dead, and so's Immersion as well. Bonus kills happening as Gambit are punished for their move.
Yeah, that was looking like it was going to be really good, but there's a little bit of miscommunication between, like, they were focusing the clock. On the back end, we had immersion on the Nyx Assassin stunning 2 people that weren't in range to get focused because of the cogs. Oh, now Doom.
That's a big mistake. What was he? Was he trying to cut the wave?
I think so. He's just trying to, but I mean, I don't know if it's worth it. You're just setting up a double wave too. Like, sure, you're defending for like a second, but there's 2 waves now going to bot. And now if you want to defend this, you have to send everybody. I don't think just
Why not a real
defend this.
The blink dagger on BCC. BCC got it right before the fight, and everything's lining up really well for All Black Gold now. You know, you have maxed out Edict, you have the mechanism on G, you got blink dagger on BCC as well, rushing it instead of going for the Vlads this game first.
Hook shot.
And Valor looks to get her pickup.
Yeah, he's looking on immersion. He's just trying to break the code. He's like, must make my escape. But I've seen this before, and it was depressing for the Nyx last time. It'll be depressing again. Can't even stun in time.
Yeah, that hero just destroys Nyx Assassin. You do not have the duration on Spiked Carapace. Oh, actually, he does have the duration on Spiked Carapace. Still not enough. Because you walk into the cogs, and it just knocks you back, and you catch up in that duration. The battery assault is just such a problem for the Nyx Assassin.
Interesting to see maybe Clock start to sneak back into the meta, considering that we have been seeing an influx of Nyx picks. And as we just highlight, it does seem like the counter.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's good against a lot of other heroes in the meta too. Like, it's good against Bruin Lane. It's good against like Leshrac. Decent against Kunkka because magic damage. Kunkka has like high armor. Goes for armlet. Hard to kill, but you have this damage over time, right? It's not this burst damage hero. It's a lot of heroes that can't be killed by most heroes in Dota. Clock can kill because battery assault does what? How much? 1,760 total damage at level 7. So there's very few heroes that Clock can't kill. As long as they can't get out of cogs or can't get away from him, he will kill the hero.
Especially in a game like this, when you talk about heroes like the Doom that attack so slow, the Nyx as well. Speaking of which, it's just rinse repeat. He's found him again. BZZ even joins in on the party this time around, and this is probably the least impact we've seen out of immersion on Nyx so far.
And he's going to have a Spirit Vessel on the Clockwork soon. So with the buffs to this item being better for aggressive purposes, this is going to let the Clockwork scale to be a very effective hero in the late game, because even though that 1,760 damage does not scale, generally if you put the Spirit Vessel on somebody who's full HP and you drop the Battery Assault, there is almost no amount of strength items that you can get that will give you HP that you can survive through that. Because the Spirit Vessel, of course, is percentage-based damage, and then the Battery Assault will finish you off. So it's going to allow him to be way more of a core in this game.
It's fair, especially against the Doom. He's just going to feel like paper. A hero that's usually renowned for how tanky he is.
Kunkka too. Like very high regen heroes.
Everything's just lining up so nice. You got Greaves. It's going to be coming out as soon as the courier. You're going to have Vlad's very close now. Oh yeah, Vlad's is finished up as well for BCC because he's got the Basilius on the courier. So it looks like they might just go for another tier 1 top, maybe get Roche, and then just go for almost a finishing blow.
They definitely want to try for that because Medusa almost had, well, she's not close to the BKB. She went for the Sasha Yasha first, kind of like a little, first item to get. You want to just rush the straight BKB. She's going for BKB next, though. Kunkka also is going for the BKB after Armlet. So I think once they have BKBs, that's a good timing for Gambit because there is nothing but physical damage, but magical damage on the side of Old But Gold. So BKB is really solid timing in this game.
They're going to try and exploit the fact that they can't handle the magic damage. Split comes out if they blink in. Ignis does get dropped. That's going to drop the Brew, and there's the Doom. They actually push Illidan pretty deep. The Hand of God might not actually protect him. He's taking a lot of damage here, trying to move away. The Scorched Earth is activated. Be enough time. Looks like Illidan won't be killed off. Still only a level 1 Doom, so the DPS isn't high. Requiem being charged up preemptively to make sure that it's not interrupted on the next drawback. Afon holding the boat still. Hasn't thrown it out there. It's going to come now. Stun on the G. Going to throw out the Guardian Greaves. Tries to run the tree to escape. Illidan trying to cover him, but they are just pursuing this hook shot. Flopped by Velio. G on the side. Going to be pushed back towards Immersion, who wants to try and actually go for the big Vendetta hit. Can he do enough, though? He's going to get pretty low. X back as well. Tries to turn around. He's taken way too much damage here, though, and he will go down. Fueled up. Comes down. Older Kulich is fine, and that will signal Old But Gold to retreat.
Good Doom on the Leshrac. Forces Chen to basically spend his entire time just trying to save the Leshrac. he was kind of zoned out of the fight. So sometimes if you do Shrek, it's not great because he runs in Pulse Novas. But with the low HP pool that he has, Shrek has no stat. Like his only stat item is a wand, which is 3 stats, and a circlet. Other than that, he has Yule Scepter and Arcane Boots. This guy has no HP whatsoever. So you doom him, you press 1 spell on him, and he has to run. And that completely botched the fight for the side of Old Book Gold.
Yeah, I'm also worried about his level. He just got level 10 now, and I mean, the Clockwork's level 8. Okay, he got an amazing start, but it still feels like you kind of want to have a bit more levels on the Leshrac. You're going to get the armor count now, which is useful, but you know, getting the movement speed or the strength, which I would assume he's probably going to go for the strength this game, is going to be very helpful once he gets 15. But before that, it's quite hard to just survive if you get doomed, and this is really...
Would love to see the stat items come out too. He's got 2,000 gold.
They're good on him right now as well. The hook shot won't stop the death of Illidan, and instead Velio has to run for the high hills. He'll get out.
He's so squishy.
It's a problem.
So squishy.
And he's your frontliner because he has to hit the towers, and a van score? That's...
You know why he did that? Because he brought the SF in. He's like, oh shit, I don't want to be that guy that just brings my SF in to die. So he sacked himself so that wouldn't happen. That's so funny. I don't know if that was necessary, but it's like, you don't want to bring your SF in to a fight he doesn't want to go to and then have him just instantly die. That's not good for morale.
That was like Boromir in Lord of the Rings, where he's just like, go on without me, live. Belial, he won't be that lucky though. He's not gonna live.
It's like Boromir. We don't need to abandon you. We're fine.
I mean, that was more like Faramir, you know, the insignificant child on the side that people forgot about.
True.
Well, that's happening actually. He finally killed Kulich.
That's a nice pickoff. Midas off cooldown and Devour off cooldown.
And Doom as
real
well.
Sad.
Everything in
21 seconds. You just sit in fountain staring at your Midas. Anxiety.
Just sweat on the brow, and then when you respawn, you've got a question like, do I go to lane and defend, or do I go to shrine and Midas?
You Midas 100% of the time. I don't care if it's right or wrong. It feels right. The heart wants what the heart wants.
Gotta get
there he goes. There he goes.
And Devour. There we go.
Oh, my anxiety.
I like that he's actually keeping the ice armor though. This is something we've seen a few Doom players really prioritize.
That's really good.
Although in this type of game, I am then looking at Olbergo's lineup where, magical damage, magical damage. There's a lot of magical damage here.
Yeah. But isn't it quite useful for putting on the towers against the Leshrac? Just reducing the edict damage, right?
Yeah, that's a fair shot.
I don't think you can with the... You could do that with the Lich armor.
Okay, I guess it might not work with... Oh, yeah, you might not be able to put the...
I was going to say, this is kind of like... You basically, he has the old Lich armor right now, except you can't put it on towers.
Yeah, you can't put it on towers. Yeah. If you would have been able to put it in towers, then it would have been perfect against the Lich. But I guess it takes away some of the edict damage at least that you have on heroes, which is fairly useful.
Yeah, a lot of the time there's...
Mostly magic, but that is negated by Kunkka most of the times, and they're also all going BK.
Right. So it's like a lot of the time there's tons of magic damage on one team, but you still need like a few right clicks to finish somebody off, just based on like how much HP people have in Dota. So it's nice to just prevent that little bit of extra damage. Maybe save somebody 10% HP. Like you said, the Kunkka also helps out a lot in that, making these fights a lot easier in terms of negating the magic.
Yeah, the only thing I would see with the Doom is once the game goes a bit later, getting a Hellbear for the attack speed for Medusa or the Wolf is going to be useful. But for now, the Ice Armor still feels very nice.
Vlad's plus the Alpha Wolf is nuts. You're just giving almost 50% extra damage to your whole team. You just stand around and you're so effective.
I almost feel like I'm doing this on purpose, but I'm really not. Every time I look at Aphon, he's failing X cleave. He's just trying to walk out, hit the creep wave, and he's always short. I think that's the second time I've just clicked on him and seen it now in a row. Immersion?
He's scared, man.
Well, Immersion's very scared and very surrounded. 5 heroes here. They love the Nyx. And, they see FNG, but BCZ can't get close enough. Can get close to this tier 2, however, and they've got a catapult incoming.
You know who they need to get close to? The Coddle. If they wanna take these engagements, if they can kill the Coddle first, that's a really good way to screw up Gambit's team fights. It's just such an easy hero to kill, and he does so much with the Blinding Light, Will-O-Wisp, and Illuminates to defend.
Jules coming out. Drac trying to actually make sure he's not in trouble here. Boat is going to come through. Split out from BZZ. SF will get stunned up. BKB by the hack. as Velior's gone pretty deep. Here's going to be split up from his team. Low on HP, should fall. And there's Ignis going down. Just traps him in. The Doom was already thrown out on Lestrak. The Hand of God's been used. Illidan will live. They will get everyone out. In fact, even Velior escapes alive.
It's awkward, yeah. Nobody died on either side. But you get the tower on Old But Gold, so you're okay with that. You've wasted Medusa's first BKB charge.
And not only that, right? Think what was actually used. You only use your split. They used the boat, not the biggest deal, but they also used, as you said, the BKB, the Doom, and they used the Will-O-Wisp.
Yep. So you could probably look to just take a fight here. They don't have a smoke on anybody. So they're just pinging the bot lane. We're just going to push out the lanes, abuse the fact that they can't kill us, they can't fight us. So they're probably not going to look to gank these side lanes here. Although, as I say, that Doom's really running at this SF top.
He could be in trouble, actually. The hook shot is available. So in level 1, though. They're scouting him out. The pings come in, and Akulich, he knows his days are numbered. There's the hook shot in. The cogs are there. And in a moment, he will no longer be there.
That Spear Vessel, so effective against the Doom, as we can see there. Negates the entire hero's purpose with the Devour, giving you that 18 regen.
You know, he's basically the big tongue to the ice cream that is this Doom.
Yeah.
Gets to slop it all up. G,
well
getting a little bit low there. Clap's going to come out for BZZ. No split for 30 seconds, but there's going to be a split off into Medusa to make sure they get the tower. And now they need to run. Kunkka has got the boat and the BKB. He's going to be forced to throw out the BKB, holding on to the boat in the meantime. It's finally going to come out. X is there on the G. Just wants to lock him on the spot. But the Guardian Greaves, nowhere near enough damage to kill him off. Clap from BZZ. 15 seconds still until he got the split. BKB online from Dahak. Gonna use it with the Stone Gaze. Force him away. Velior dragged back, possibly towards his death, but he's so damn tanky. It looks like he might be fine, despite Carapace stuns him up prematurely. But they can't finish off the kill because Illidan, he's so damn tanky. Think it was just not even 5 minutes ago, I think, that we were complaining about the strat being too damn squishy. And now look at him. Immersion in trouble. The split now available. BZZ going to dive the tower. Cyclone's going to come out into the cult. And when he comes down, there's a big mess waiting to kill him off. The Ignis does get dropped. Drags them all in. Buyback's going to come out from Nyx right now. But they're just going to split away from this. Zone them out. BZZ will give his life to keep his cause alive. But Illidan getting low on HP. He will fall. No way to get away from this. The Doom thrown out. Straight away onto the SF. Hesitation with the Torrent. Hitting onto 2. They're going to find him. They'll probably find Vanscore as well. Velior, he won't get out. It looks like they might actually lose everyone at this rate. And they actually got the deny at least, as he just shouted out. Gee, he will be killed off by his own teammates, but still a huge team fight loss for the side of Old But Gold.
I mean, it's strange because there was a buyback on Nyx. You get the deny at SF, you get the tower as well, and I mean, it's not that bad. The problem here is that the bounties are about to spawn. And there's this time where you're dead where Gambit is just farming. So this is where the gold lead is going to come from that fight. It's just the downtime. So they're going to get all the bounties on Gambit. We're going to see about a 3 to 4k gold lead. Oh god, Brew's even TPing bot to try to get the bounties. Yeah, that was a 2k swing, 3k swing in the downtime where they're dead. Not from the fight, from the downtime.
It's an incredible fight to take. And now, obviously, we've seen the BKB being up on the Hawk, and Afterlife is finishing up his BKB as well now, getting very close, and then we, as well as Afro, of course, had it in that fight. So now we get the triple BKB core, and makes it really, really hard for Old But Gold to fight into Gambit now if they just want to run at. Even we saw the Brewmaster split wasn't that strong. The Hawk just killed it off.
And this is really the only move that Old But Gold have. They need this Aegis. This isn't this would be nice, this would help us. If they try and approach the base of Gambit now without this, they just get shredded.
Yeah, this is like the one last resort. I think the BKBs completely hard counter the Old But Gold
They're coming.
draft. Yeah, it's not fast enough.
Torrent's going to slow them down. They can interrupt this. BCC, he has got the split. Just about got the man as well. Innis going to go down. Hook shot in. On the call, but too late. He's already dropped his ult. He's done his piece. Who's going to get the Aegis is the real question. Back moving in right now. Stone Gaze, he picks up the Aegis and gets the kill on the Roshan. And now with the boat full up, they've got the damage. Just melt through Chen. They'll get through Illidan as well. And that Requiem, that is a please don't kill me while I'm in the corner Requiem. He'll try to find Immersion. Going to get him low. He might tick out, but even if he does, value has been found as they're going to run G through. Buyback did come out from Illidan. Way too late to assist the rest of his team. Velior caught up by the X is going to be dragged towards his death. This mana steal is way too much from Dahak. And Velior will take a while, but he should go down. Dahak taking a lot of damage, but does have that Aegis. Maybe you tick him out, but Illidan, he'll probably give his life for this. The X will draw him back. Jules to try and dodge that out. Odakulich's going to keep on chasing. Throws out the Doom. Says, oh, hell, why not? Dance with me, Disco Pony. I'm about to send you to a glue factory. Velio going to be dragged back again by the X. Clockwork, a man who we said had done so much in this early game, just completely and utterly controlled constantly by this Kunkka. And now he's moved on to bigger targets. BZZ next on the hit list. He should fall as well. And this should instantly be a push towards the base of Old But Gold.
Yeah, these fights are basically just BKBs. Old But Gold can't really do anything when it comes to the BKBs. And the Kunkka's been putting in a lot of work in these fights. Just the constant torrents and boats and X's. They're getting completely kited on Old But Gold.
It kind of complements Gambit. I guess you could say, like the draft, you look at it and you go, okay, they have a lot of sustain, and oh, they might have more kills. Hookshot coming out. Tahak actually cancels the TP. Wants to fight, but realizes Odakulich is done and dusted. Trying to move away, but Velio straight on top of him the whole time. He will turn around now. The Snake as well. Velio has to back away, and Odakulich kept alive by that sudden turnaround from Medusa.
Nice.
But I guess the point I was going to hit on, actually, like, you look at these drafts, right, Weppas? It's just the sustain. There's a lot of sustain, right? You got the boat, you got Medusa, you've got this kind of attritional battle going on. But when you look on the side of Old But Gold, the way their draft plays with this Leshrac, you're kind of complementing the way that Gambit wants to play. You're not suddenly nuking someone down immediately to start a fight.
Yeah, you really want to, or I mean, Old But Gold obviously have sustained damage coming out, and the boat buff is just doing so much work again. Like, staying alive with it is really making the difference, I feel. The boat buff just keeping them alive, and then obviously the BKBs on top makes it so the cores can do kind of what they want. And then Immersion, obviously, in there, since there are no BKBs on the side of Old But Gold, he's in there with his Carapace, gets Carapace stuns procced on Illidan since he can't control the Edict damage or the Pulse Nova. And then you can just follow that up. And with Illidan going for this Bloodstone, he's down to 8 charges now. Dying twice is not good at all.
I think Affinage is doing a really good job too at holding the boat. He's not just using it right at the start of the fight to initiate. He's using it as, like you said, more of a defensive thing, just with the boat rum to keep his team alive. So he's using it like after a couple of torrents, after his Medusa goes in, uses BKB.
Yeah, it's not a damaging tool for him in this game. Right. It's more of a survive all the damage that comes out from.
Speaking of Illidan, he's been found again. The Ignis went down, held him on the spot, and that's literally the most valuable kill Gambit can find.
Oh yeah. There's no way for Illidan right now to deal with the Ignis. He's a Leshrac. He doesn't right click it. It's basically just the SF that can right click it, but it's a Guardian Greaves SF. He does have the Sanjinyasha now, but no BKB, no Force Staff, just as like the Yule Scepter. So if he just gets Ignis, he's dead. He's screwed.
I do like the creep swap up as well for Doom. Getting the Purge creep for the Yules makes it so there's literally no way he can get out of it. You can also, I believe, dispel Divine Favor.
Yeah.
So it's just a very useful ability to have right now. Obviously, the Wolf creep is nice. They aren't really lacking in damage either. It helps you do more damage, but the Purge creep is just really high value at the moment, and it helps them out.
You kind of feel like the Divine Favor has lost its value, right? Like we talked very early on about how great it was in the lane for Brewmaster combo with the big crits, but he's going to be split in these fights. And your SF, he doesn't build this big physical damage build. He's going in these Guarding Greaves. He's looking to nuke through this area of the game. It's not like you've got a Gyrocopter, for example, or an Ursa that gets these huge damage spikes on top of what they do. Double Sun coming in, jump in, Doom's going to be there as well, Torrent boat, everything on the Shadow Fiend going to get him low, Split's going to come out, Odakulich moving forward, and Shadow Fiend trying to keep him alive with the Hand of God. It's not going to be enough, he will fall. Illidan just being ignored because those BKBs still doing all the work. Spike Carapace coming out, big cleave damage, X there as well. Illidan trying for the split earth play, Immersion, he's going to force stuff away, he stays alive. Beautifully done by FNG to keep his fellow support alive. Now Torrent, Vanscore, he's almost down. GG comes out actually as they just submit. Gambit take game 1.
That is honestly just the power of BKB timings. You have this like timing-based lineup against a late game team. You have no damage to go, through the BKBs. You basically have to end the game at below 30 minutes, or you go to the hyper late game where you have like sheep sticks, nullifiers, things like that. But I don't think you want to go there against Doom, Kunkka, and Medusa. So,
definitely not. And I thought the Midas might bite Doom in the ass, but it actually helped him out get that BKB timing together with all the other 3 cores, and then they just could take fights at their own choices and then just keep on winning those fights.
Let's look at the damage. 21,000 from Doom. Would you expect that? He's actually doing like a ton of damage that game.
I do like the difference in Doom builds that we've seen lately from some of the Doom players, maxing out Scorched Earth and then going for the damage instead of the movement speed.
Yeah.
It makes him do a lot of damage in fights, especially against a team like this that didn't end up going for any of the BKBs. And I mean, G was on his way, but he went for an SNY in between, and just keep pumping up a lot of magic damage in the fights. Sure, the pipe helps a bit, but the Scorched Earth can burn through.
That's an interesting point as well, right? Because you go back, I mean, not even, I'd say a month, 2 months ago, people weren't really looking at Scorched Earth seriously. They're like, okay, actually, the way we perceive this hero is you basically max out Devour and you become unkillable. And that's great.
Yeah, the thing about that, though, is that the way they change how regen works, it doesn't scale with your strength. So, like, Devour, it said that it gave you, like, whatever, 5 regen at level 1, but really because Doom has strength, and as you leveled up, like, it would give you more and more and more and more. So you'd see Doom with, like, plus 120 regen, something ridiculous like that. It doesn't scale like that anymore. So the Devour loses its value, and therefore the playing Doom as that, like, or a frontliner tank kind of hero loses its value, and that's why, like, the Drum's phase boots makes a lot more sense, because then you're kind of that old, like, ganking, use the Doom in the fight, you have the movement speed, you're super fast, running people down, like, kind of being more of an aggressive hero, because the defensive hero just isn't really there anymore. It's still not bad. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad at all. Like, you can go aura items on any offlaner, but for Doom, like, this build was good before, and now with the changes, it's even better.
Yeah, makes you definitely more aggressive if you want to be that.
But as a result of that, Gambit take a 1-game lead after this first game. That means that this could be a quick day with a 2-0, or perhaps All But Gold have something to say about that. Maybe they got a wrench to throw in the works. I mean, they did have a wrench to throw in the works of the draft meta by bringing out that Caller Shrek. Not able to pay off this time. Maybe they come back in the second game and look to have a little bit more physical damage, and we see a totally different game. There are so many maybes, so many ifs, buts, and whatevers. But before we get to those, we've got to ram some sweet, sweet, beautiful smelling ads in your face and get replenished for game 2. Back soon.